throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that. Shut them haters up, you know we go so hard. Chopper hit up in they face, yeah, I'm a bulldog. Number one is what we holding, number one is what we stand. When you step out on that field, let them know you ain't playing. Step back in that pocket, launch it off like a rocket. Pass the pill, run the ball, either way they ain't gon' stop it. Bring that trophy back and let them know the CH got it locked up from the east to west, north to the south, and they can't top it. That defense they holding, that O-line be blocking. Check your Facebook, them bulldogs, they trending topic. Them corners on they job, they receivers, they gon' lock it. And don't try and punt the ball because that D-line gon' block it. They know we coming hard, they know we coming strong. Let them haters do they talking, Chapel Hill deserves the throne. Yeah, we sit at number one, they know we can't be cloned. Now it's time to handle business, gonna bring that title home. Work, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. Make them haters throw up, throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know I'ma throw that blue and gold up. CH in they face, let them know that. This shit is our year, so we gon' shut it down and handle that and let them haters know another L. Say we not hearing that. Blue and gold, I be wearing that. Them other teams we not fearing.
Good evening, Bulldog Sports Network. It's your boy Brett Swinney alongside Corey Marshall for tonight's weekly wrap-up show, UIL Realignment Edition. What's up, Corey?
What's going on?
And we also have our new color commentator, Vincent Johnson, on the headset tonight.
It's an inside joke.
What's up, fellas?
If you missed the broadcast the other night, Vincent Johnson, aka Uncle Mo, was in the building, and the Bulldogs responded. So we'll talk about that. That was a lot of fun. We've got a special guest tonight that will be hopefully joining us shortly, and we'll introduce him once he arrives. How's it going this week, fellas?
It's cold.
Yeah, cold and
a little cold. Yeah,
uneventful. It's uneventful weather day, but it's okay. I'm happy with that. From what we had last year, I'm good with the uneventfulness. I'm good with that.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't do nothing
we had
today.
a nice 3-day off. had a free day off of work and just looked outside, wondering when the blizzard was hitting.
Yeah,
and, it never came.
Never came.
I'm okay with that.
But I mean,
we got a couple guys here. Got a couple.
Oh, go ahead. You got
go
ahead.
Here?
No, I'm just saying I'll be back at it tomorrow, but I don't know if you guys are working tomorrow, but supposedly I'll be back at it tomorrow morning. So, but who we got?
No, I think school's closed tonight. We've got we've got a guy we haven't heard from a while. Hector is back with us tonight.
Thanks
up,
Hector?
For joining us tonight, Hector. And we've got James Square. I told you, Corey, I'm here. What's up, Mr. Square? How's it going tonight? Corey, you gotta tell us the inside joke. You got an inside joke there?
Well, I don't want to give we'll get into the realignment part, but he and I talked about the Chapel Hill Jacksonville rivalry. So he's excited about that.
All right, we got somebody else here. We got Mr. 655. What's up, Costello? Just coming through to show love. Y'all know who that is?
I know what that is. That's a family member. It's my cousin. That's the inside joke.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to
what's up, LJ?
Let's see. Nothing happened. Okay, I'm trying to work with y'all. Y'all talk for a second. I'm gonna see if I can get our guest in.
Okay.
Oh man, you saying you ain't got to work tomorrow? You work tomorrow?
Yeah, that's the life. That's the life of a tech.
Well, tomorrow's my last day officially at my old position, so I'm it's a bittersweet day, but I know I've been harping on it for like the past month. If you know how HR is, it takes forever.
Yeah.
But it's 9.5 years, man. It's a long time, so I'm excited.
I'm excited. That's dope, man. I'm excited for you. Man, what's crazy about weather like this is that when it gets like this, people are stuck at home, and when they're stuck at home, that means they gotta have their stuff working. They gotta have their tech working. So, ironically, it's funny because they would never leave the house, but they expect for us to show up and fix their stuff.
Absolutely.
I need that TV working. I need that computer on point.
And then they act surprised. Oh, I didn't know you guys were open today. Yeah, I'm open because you called. I know you was gonna call me.
Yeah.
James has said it there.
Yeah.
All right, so guys, we have our special guest, Mr. High School basketball around the area. Mr. Brandon Ogden is joining us tonight, and we're gonna bring him in right now. Welcome, Brandon.
Hey, welcome. Thank you.
How you doing?
We're good. We shared the table with this guy a few times here this season, and a couple interesting games experiences there. Brandon, kind of introduce yourself to those that may not know who you are.
I'm Brandon Ogden. I'm a sports writer at the Tyler paper. Been here 4 years and just wrapped up my 22nd football season covering East Texas football. And it was another fun one, and especially for the Bulldogs. And I'm sure y'all had a lot of fun with that. And now basketball season's rolling too. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been interesting. It's been an interesting day. We're going to start out. We're going to talk about the last couple of games. I don't know if you got to see any of those. We did have the last couple of games on the network. I don't know if you got to see. I'm sure the Lindale one. I'm sure you heard about that one.
Yeah, I watched highlights from most of them, and I think I watched most of one game last week, and then obviously Coach Johnson sends me all the stuff after each game, and so they won. They haven't lost since the Bull. They had that 3-game losing streak, and now it seems like they're rolling, and right at the right time, get a bye tomorrow, and then a big game on Tuesday.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna talk about the Kilgore game first. That was the longest one ago, I guess. It's been almost a week since that game. Corey's a big Kilgore fan, and it actually came to fruition because Kilgore upset Bullard the other night. Corey finally, he takes them as underdog picks. Vincent, I know, he'll ride them until finally they come through, and then he'll brag.
Then he try to sit there like he Bill Belichick or somebody. Yeah, like he Nick Saban, like he just knew,
I was right about Argyle. I picked the Argyle loser. They finally lost.
You were wrong about Argyle for like 7 weeks.
But it's okay. I finally picked it. I figured they was gonna lose. Yeah, I figured it was gonna happen. You can't keep
Get
that
outta
perfect
here,
streak
man.
going
What?
that
After
long.
you win
Get outta
60,
here.
you win
Yeah.
like 60 in a row. You got to lose at some point, I guess.
True. But
But
no,
anyway, we went to on the score. We took care of business. We had a good performance from everybody, and one of those games that you have to steal on the road, and we did so. What was y'all's biggest takeaway from that one?
For me, honestly, we executed. We played well. It was one of those. It was a tricky game, and I told you, Brett, on the telecast as well as behind the scenes and stuff. I said, this is games that kind of make me nervous the most because Kilgore is hunting and trying to find that fourth spot. They've had some games that slipped away, and they wanted to come in and kind of get a win. And this is a game that they had to have, and we came out and we took care of business. It was a business trip for us, and we got a win. So. And it kind of, I'm glad it didn't happen to us, but it happened to someone else this past Tuesday. So I told you it was a game. They're needing to win a game, and you wanted to go in and take care of business, and you need to get those sweeps. So that was an important game for us on the back end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did what we had to do. Obviously, um, I I didn't really, man. I don't want to talk bad about Kilgore, nothing like, but I wasn't really looking at them as to be a threat. Now, again, I understand that these type of games are still crucial because they could jump out on you. But I really like, Corey is he's riding this wave. I don't know what this thing is between him and Kilgore. He may have some relatives out there, some I don't know. So I'm not finna make nobody mad with what I want to say. But what I will tell you is this: we did exactly what I thought we was gonna do. We came out there, we showed out, we got the dub, and that was it. That's all need to be said. And we was on the Lindale.
You got anything, Brandon? Did you get to see any of that game?
I did not. I just I've seen Kilgore earlier in the year though, and I know they have some pieces, and at times they can, and the way they play, the games are going to be so low scoring that if you're not making shots, they got a chance because they're going to play a slow it down defensive game, and so unless you get hot from deep, it could be a tough night.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we played well.
That style that you can actually get caught up in playing the same style as them. Then it comes down to a few possessions. Now, luckily, we were up 20 with about 4 minutes to go. The game ended up only being about a 6-point game. They chipped away at the end, but we got out of there with the win. That's all I think that mattered at that point. Then we went, had a few days off the weekend, came back, and this Lindale game. We been talking about this game and had an eye on this one for a while, as Lindale was the last game in district play that we didn't look very good. You were at the Lindale game last time, Brendan. I know because you sat next to us at the table, and I don't know if I've ever seen Chapel Hill shoot that poorly from the floor, from the free throw line, everywhere. Deuce was the only person that was hitting anything in that game, and so
and that was all
since that game. Yeah, it was all in the second half. Yeah. I mean, and to shoot that poorly from the field and still only lose by 10, I had a feeling we could beat Lindale because we weren't going to shoot that bad again. And was going to be at home. Of course, the Lindale had a pretty good crowd in both games. The student section was loud there at Lindale. But we had a packed house in Bulldog Gymnasium for most of the contest. It kind of got out of hand at the end. I don't know if you heard about that, Brandon. I had some fans on Lindale's side were yelling at the referees and.
Yeah, I heard a little bit about that. At the game I was at Tuesday, there was a lot of that going on. I heard about a few more games in East Texas where I think there were at least 5 games on Tuesday night that didn't even end in the full 32 minutes. I know of at least 3 games the other night where the refs called it with at least 10, 15, some even a minute to go. They said, "Hey, we're done with this," and they left.
Well, these guys were probably close to doing so because, they had to kick out a few fans. Then Lindale's, I guess, they were protesting. They decided they had like 7 or 8, 10 more fans just decided to walk off, and Lindale fans were cheering them, and then Chapel Hill fans were cheering them, waving them goodbye. It was an interesting night. And, we'll
some
talk
folks
about
just
a little
don't know
more,
how to
but
lose.
we did
They don't know
have
how to
a.
lose. They don't. They don't know how to
There
lose.
was I think they didn't like the way the game was. The game was officiated loosely. They let them play, and the Lindale fans didn't like that. I mean, yeah, they let them play. It wasn't one of those we blew a whistle every 5 seconds for hand check. They were letting them hand check. They were letting them play, and Lindale did not take advantage of it, and they didn't like it. Saying that, we had our Bulldog Sports Network player and play of the game. Let's take it out.
Let's stick to our guns. Let's follow the game plan. Let's execute.
Somehow gets it over to Brisbane. Corner 3. Dagger! Oh, dagger shot from Brisbane in the corner.
Brisbane the kid. Oh, my God. Let's play the game.
Demetrius Brisbane. Huge shot in the corner right in front of us.
Nice call there, Vince.
Well, I don't know if y'all can see that. Yeah, we had our third man on the call. Vincent Johnson got him some.
The energy, man. It was right there in the corner.
I mean,
What I'm saying? He hit that shot. You just feel that energy just hit the whole building, and yeah, it was fun.
For a Tuesday,
that's basketball for you, Vince. You should try it sometime.
Yeah,
that's basketball game. You should try it.
Oh yeah. But it was Lindale. That wasn't just basketball. It was Lindale. It meant something.
for a Tuesday night game.
Yeah, we've had some.
Yeah, for a Tuesday night game, that really meant something. Obviously, in the district standings, we, Brett, Brett and I, and of course Vince as well. We talked about that a little bit from the other show. We wanted to have a good crowd out. Brett kind of challenged, the community to kind of come out, show a lot of support. It was a big. I would say it's not the biggest crowd we could have, but it was a nice size district crowd, all things considered. And the energy was there, and those guys needed that. And you could tell, play after play, that we really fed off of the energy from the crowd. And it was a nice atmosphere for a Tuesday night basketball game, especially it meant a lot. And two teams jockeying for position, and you could tell. Our guys played with a lot of momentum. They played a different style. They played aggressive. And the exact opposite almost happened to Lindale that happened to us in the first game. Lindale couldn't buy a basket. And then, we were making baskets. But, the tempos and everything kind of played to our favor the entire night. And so it was a good brand of basketball that Tuesday. Obviously it didn't end the way as far as the fan support goes. But, you live and you learn. That's East Texas. And apparently, Lindale is taking the place of the White House rivalry, since White House is not technically playing us at this point, but that's another story, neither here nor there. but other than that, Lindale is the team. So this rivalry has spiked up in the past couple of years. So we're gonna ride it out. I guess they're the new rivalry now.
Yeah, it's pretty much taken over. Now, Brandon, we challenged White House on air. We want to play them, and we've challenged them. That we've only had one respond. It was Cole Key, old Mr. Key from back in the day. We used to play against him, and we told him, "Hey, go tell your coaches we want to play White House." And again, we saw our football schedule released, and they're not on there. So no luck the next 2 years for football, at least. So maybe basketball.
Yeah, you never know. Especially I would think in basketball, pretty much all these East Texas teams would play each other at least in a tournament or something. But football, you only get so many slots, and especially now with I think today we had so many 7+ team districts, you only get 3 or 4 non-district games. So that makes it a little tougher. But in basketball, I just don't see no reason. Pretty much everybody, you would think they'd play at least once because, you get 20-something.
We talked about that. A while back on one of our shows, we was talking about why don't we have some type of East Texas tournament type thing? Because I don't see why we, like you said, I don't see why we don't all just play each other.
Yeah, there's the Wagstaff, but now
it used to be the Wagstaff.
Yeah, and it's kind of and so this year it was not as many teams as normal, and then they went away from the tournament format. Now it's just kind of round robin, but hopefully maybe one day it'll go back to the tournament where everybody comes back. But also, like, and then that weekend Chapel Hill went over to Whataburger, which you can't. I mean, that's one of the best tournaments in the state. So if you get invited, you show up.
Yeah.
But Brownsboro and Wagstaff are normally the ones where all the East Texas schools come, but still only some at a time. So.
Yeah, that Brownsboro tournament.
Yeah, I think we were supposed to be in the Brownsboro tournament, but I think since we were in football playoffs,
yeah, you're still playing. Yeah, that was.
I
think that was state semi. That was your state semifinal week or the week before. So.
Right. We'll live with that one. We'll miss that tournament. We'll miss that one.
Yeah, if we're still playing football, we're okay. Miss that. That would be a good reason why to miss it. All right, so I've got the updated standings, and we'll talk about kind of what those look like here. Here's the way it looks, guys. Bullard 8-1, Chapel Hill 7-2, Lindale 5-3, Henderson 4-4, Kilgore 4-5, Spring Hill 2-6, and Cumberland 0-9. What's y'all's first initial thoughts when you look at that?
So possession number 2.
We coming to give Bullet the business.
I mean that hurt Bullet's chances, but this gives us a breath of fresh air already. So I mean, this is going to come down to us taking care of business and winning games.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we get over the last hump. We got Spring Hill, and we have Spring Hill and Henderson left. So it's button up time right now. So I think they understand that at this point in time they're playing the best basketball they could play during the season, and I think that Lindale game kind of gave them that shot in the arm. But that Bullard game Tuesday, I don't want to say it means everything, but it means everything at this point. They come in and get that win because they owe them one, and I'd like to see them get that victory.
Well, and you've got Saturday. They've moved the game, but Saturday afternoon, Bullard plays Lindale at Lindale.
Yeah, 3:00. So, that's where I'll be.
Oh, you'll be there. Okay, good. So we can follow your Twitter account. We'll know how that's going. Awesome.
And then I may see.
Hey, Brandon, can you tell everybody what?
Right.
Oh, well, we'll be there Tuesday night. That's for sure. So, what's your for everybody that doesn't know that's listening? What's your Twitter account so they can follow you, Brandon?
It's at Brandon, the letter O, and then sports, and so it's pretty simple, but yeah.
Okay, and we also follow Brandon. So if you can't find it,
I say most people in East Texas do already. So if you're friends with someone in East Texas, at least one of them probably follows.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up
awesome.
and I'll see him. Oh, he's at the game. He's at the good game.
Do you get to pick those games you go to, Brandon, or you kind of assign those?
For the most part, it just depends. I mean, just a lot of times, but there are certain games I'm saying, hey, I want to be like they're not Deb Martin's Miller Pointer. It's like 4 teams ranked in the top 11 state. It's like, hey, I want to go be there for that. So if the schedule lines out right, but it just depends how the schedule lines out, and so.
What was your best game that you attended this year?
This year, dang it, there's been well, the best one probably wasn't even involving East Texas teams. It was probably the one at Wagstaff. It was a homeschool team from Dallas and Houston Legacy, and it was probably about 10, 11 D1 kids on the floor, just back and forth.
Oh,
but
okay.
But there's been a few overtime games I've seen this year, and then so I hadn't seen like a buzzer beater yet this year to win a game, but seen some pretty close games. I'm sure the best one y'all saw this year was probably even though Chapel Hill lost, was probably the Chapel Hill Bullard game. I heard that was a pretty great one. So
yeah, it was pretty phenomenal to be a part of. I don't like the way it ended. It ended with a bad call. I mean, it's one of those that the ref swallows the whistle at the end, and you don't call the foul on the rebound with it. I wouldn't have liked that if we'd have won that way or lost. It was too good of a game to end that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was the best game basketball wise. I've been a part of probably one of the more exciting football season, but not basketball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Two of the last 3 in football were pretty crazy. So
yeah. One of them turned out the way I wanted to, and the other one I thought it was going to turn out the way I wanted to, and then it didn't. So it is what it is. Basically, it comes down to it that it's a Moan and Bullard. We'll see how the Lindale Bullard game goes. Will kind of depend on it'll mean something no matter what. But if Lindale is to win and Bullard comes in tied with us, it's almost more important because then if we lose, we're dropped back down to tie with Lindale again, and we split. And I think it's maybe is it now, Brandon? You might know this. What's the tie break? Is it head-to-head points first?
Well, it's head-to-head. So if you split, like if they whoever sweeps gets the top seed. If you split, then they decide if they want to flip or play for it. The only tiebreak in basketball is straight head-to-head.
Straight head-to-head. So we'd basically
because like in football you don't have the opportunity to play a tiebreaker, but basketball you have that opportunity. So
right. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that would be how, because I don't think pretty much and Henderson and Kilgore play on Saturday as well, and so I think that's probably going to be most likely whoever wins that game will probably be the 4th seed. No guarantees because I think Henderson plays a little tougher schedule down the stretch, so I think it's more of a must-win for Henderson, just because they're going to end the season with Bullard, Lindale, and Chapel Hill as their final 3, I believe, because we kind of talked about this mid-season. They were 3-0 in the first round, and you know,
on the back end.
Corey was on Henderson bandwagon. He's like, man, Henderson's good this year. You know, I was like, Corey, they hadn't played anybody yet.
I mean, okay, they didn't.
You did.
I had to see him first. I didn't see him. You know, now I finally got a chance to see him, and you know, I could. You know, they're okay.
They've got some talent on the floor.
They got a chance.
But I just didn't. I don't know. I think it's going to be a good one between them and Kilgore, and I think whoever wins that probably does take it. But pretty much it's separated. The top 3 is kind of separated itself now, so it's going to be. And I don't think the 4th seed now. Brendan probably knows this. Probably will play Paris first round, which is you don't want to be that 4th spot.
Right. Yeah.
They're District 15.
Yeah. That's how it lines up. And then no, because no, is that the Paris district or is it the? I don't have that. I don't have the bracket in front of me, but
I don't either. For some reason, I was thinking that was.
Lindale played Paris last year, second round.
But yeah, they played them in the 3rd round last year.
Yeah, third round.
Yeah, so whoever wins the district will play Paris in the 3rd round. I do know that. Whoever the top seed.
Yeah, because it's
Paris
like is in 15. They're in 15. We played Liberty ILO last year. We played Liberty ILO last year. We were we were the 2nd seed, so we played them. Yeah. Corey and I covered that game. So that's a spot you don't want to be in. The rest of that district is pretty mediocre. So any of their spots is probably pretty good. I feel like our district is probably better than theirs overall. But the Paris, you don't want to end up against first game.
Well, that's the thing is like spot. That's the thing is, of course, you want to win a district title, but if it's a tie break, if it's tie for the district titles and you be co-champs, I might say, hey, I'll just take the 2nd seed, let y'all take the 1 seed in the playoffs.
Then you don't.
And that way
you get Paris later,
right?
Well, or then I mean, eventually you'll basically skip Paris and you'll face a Dallas team in the regional tournament. So
it could be,
be. Which, as long as you're not playing Faith Family, I think you're okay.
Well, and I mean, Carter's always good. Lincoln's always good.
Yeah. Well, Faith Family's probably. I don't. They got guys coming from all across the country going to play there. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
I thought that they had the what's his name, Jordan Walsh, that played.
Yeah,
he was there forever.
Yeah, he left, and he's playing at Missouri now, but.
I mean,
but they still got lots
of reload.
Yeah, you just reload.
I know.
That's a Dallas school.
The high school transfer portal.
So
yeah, exactly.
Must be nice.
So what are y'all looking for in the Bullard game? Then we'll kind of talk, and then we'll start talking some realignment. So what's y'all's key, I think, to get the win in Bullard?
I'll say defense. After watching that Lindale game, to me, I feel like the biggest. I mean, I know there are other aspects to the game, but the way they play defense and how they were able to just frustrate Lindale and get them out of their game plan, to me, it was kind of a big big key to the success. And so I'm hoping to see that same kind of aggression when it comes to us playing defense against Bullard. They got some good shooters and everything, but I mean, the way if we could play with that level of intensity that we did the other night, I think we can get them in that same position where they're a little frustrated to get those open looks and stuff like that. And I think that'll help us out a lot as far as keeping it a low score. So to me, I think the key is going to be defense.
I'm gonna take it from where Vince is saying defense is important, and honestly, it's a business trip. I use this in football a lot. It's a business trip. You know exactly who your opponent is. You played well the first time. I know we discussed doing things to win basketball games, but at this time, I'm not going to change anything that we've done thus far. I just tell the guys, listen, this district title or bust. This is it. If you want to compete for a district title, you're going to come in and win the game. And if that's what you want, let's go take it. Let's execute, and let's be disciplined, and let's come in here with a business mindset. We go home, and we probably win district after this. Or share a title or share a district co-district champs. But that's the mindset I would go in. But but of course, Bullard's going to come in with that. We beat you guys. This is 2 years in a row we beat you at Chapel Hill. So, and they shouldn't have won last year. And then, then they beat us again this year on the technicality. But at the end of the day, we've got to come in and we've got to dominate the game. So, and then we got to. That's what I'm thinking at the most part at this point. So.
Brandon, you got any thoughts? Have you seen both teams this
year?
Yeah,
I have.
I'm sure you've had Bullard
at least a few times. It's been a while since I've seen Bullard, but I've actually probably seen them more this year than because since Chapel Hill didn't really get started till so late. Because after football, I basically only saw Chapel Hill the Lindale game and then a couple other clips and stuff. But it's a game. If I'm there, I'm looking forward to watching. It's gonna be fun. A lot of good players on the floor. Two well coached teams. Two really good teams. It's one of those. Hey, you better get there early, get a ticket, and get a seat because it's gonna be packed. I mean, that's probably gonna be the game of the night on Tuesday night. I hadn't looked at the full schedule, but I would think that's one of the premier games, not only in East Texas but in the state, especially at the Class 4A level. And it's just gonna be a fun basketball game. Just two really good teams with a lot of good players on the floor.
And guess what? If you see, you can watch it right here on the Bulldog Sports Network. So, If you somehow don't want to it's too crowded for you and you don't want to get out, we hope you can, but you can always tune in right here. We'll have it for you.
Should be snowing or icing, so yeah, it should be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hope all that weather's cleared out. Should be a nice evening. Probably back up to 70, 80 degrees again, I imagine.
It probably
has been going here lately. So
you're wearing shorts and a t-shirt,
so
yeah.
But it should be a good one. My thinking is on this one, and from what I saw in the game before, I think there's one of two things and it's kind of on the same lines of y'all on the defensive side, but I think there's either one of two methods that we take in this game. We either need to shut out and put somebody on knuckles and don't let him do anything, and make somebody else beat you, or you let him get all he wants and don't let anybody else do anything. One of those two strategies, because we saw what happened when he fouled out. I mean, that press ate Bullard's lunch. They didn't know where to go with the ball. He was their go-to. We talked about Luka type-esque in a matter of he's a tall ball handler that can see over the top of the press, and he does well and takes care of it. You can tell he's well coached. Obviously, his dad's the coach.
He's got a green light. He's going to shoot it anytime he touches it.
He can shoot it from anywhere. So I think that's the two things that I look for. We take one of the two approaches, and I don't know which one is the best method, but you take one of them. You either try to shut him down, you put your best defender on, you get him frustrated, which you can do easily. He has a tendency to get frustrated easily and lose his cool. We saw that, and that's what actually cost him fouling out. A couple of plays that he got frustrated with Chapel Hill's defense. He shoved off on his fifth foul. He got the technical on the fourth one for, showboating over the Chapel Hill defender for blocking the shot. So we know he can get flustered.
So we know
I think
what we
you
need
take
to do
that
then.
approach, or you right.
We know what we need to do.
You'd send Brett Swinney after him. You would put me on him. That's an inside joke, Brandon. You won't know that, but when I played, so many years ago, I'm that pesky guy that will run around with you, and every time you cut and move, I'm just going to run around with you just to annoy you. I might, and sometimes I have my Swinney School of Flops here. I don't have it up today, but I'm good at getting up underneath you, and then you kind of lean on me, and I'm falling backwards and taking the offensive foul. Those kind of things that you can do can get somebody really flustered, especially if they don't like it, and he definitely does not. So that's what I would do if I had someone on the team that was played like me. I would send that player out and just like a tick on a dog, just chase him around and frustrate him.
He's a really good basketball player. He's a really good basketball.
Yeah, he is. Really. And so it's going to take a lot. The old Bullar's going to pack their side. It's way bigger than the Chapel Hill side. They've got a little very small visitor side, so they're automatically going to have a home court advantage because the whole city of Buller is going to shut down to be at that game.
It's going to be a good atmosphere. It's always a good atmosphere in Buller.
It really is. I like to call out all the Chapel Hill community. If you can be there at one of the games, again, if you're going to be at the girls' game, that's awesome. They're playing Bullard girls as well. We don't want to just tell you, hey, you have to go to the boys' game. But if you want to go to the boys' game, be there. Be there early. So,
yeah,
I'm gonna miss playing.
Take this opportunity. We're going to talk about that and just say we'd like to take this opportunity to thank our sponsor for tonight's show, Zono's Insurance.
Zono's.
Thanks for sponsoring our show, Zo. He's our weekly wrap-up show sponsor, and he's also a sponsor of our basketball season. So shout out to him. So guys, it's here. Who slept through that this morning? I did.
Woke up early. I woke up early enough to try.
I didn't get up this morning. School being shut down, I slept right through. I knew it was happening, but I slept right through it. I had like 5 texts when I got up, and I was like, "Oh man, someone's trying to tell me what happened." So I went over and tuned in on Dave Campbell's and watched Tepper and his show. Kind of went through it a little bit. Then I went and peeked at the realignment. So we're going to start off with just like a simple statement. When you looked at the 4A Division I realignment, what one thing stuck out to you? Anybody can start. Whoever wants to go.
I think everyone should all say this in unison. Carthage.
Yeah.
Carthage. They're not into 4A Division I.
I know.
You're still trying to put them. You're trying to put them in. You were trying to put them in earlier. You were trying to put them in our district.
I'm still flustered by Carthage, y'all. I'm sorry. That blows.
We don't.
I know. I'm just saying this. I know.
Corey.
It still gets me. I'm still reading all the kind of notes I have. That just. Anyway, that's just crazy. But anyway, no. I don't know. Jacksonville was the biggest point there. I mean, we swapped. Was it Maybank with Jacksonville? We swapped with Maybank.
I like playing Jacksonville. I know that's crazy to say. Maybe it's because of some of the things they have done to us in the past. It seems like every time that we get a chance to play, I want to destroy them because of how you talk about it. Ain't even rivalry. I don't know what you call it between us and Jacksonville, but it ain't healthy, and I don't care. I'm here for it. I got all day. I got time. They done some things, man. Y'all know we grew up right here. You know what happened. You get back on the bus, your stuff gone, and I ain't gonna never forget that. If it's up to me, we playing them every year. From the time that happened, they gonna be on the schedule every year. If I could play it twice, I would.
Vince, it's gonna be in the Tomato Bowl this year. You gonna be there?
You know what? Listen,
I gotta be there.
I'm gonna be there, and I may make me a little custom shirt. I still remember. I still remember what you did that year. I ain't forgot. I know what you did last summer. That's what I'm gonna put on my shirt. I know what you did last summer.
You know, I don't know, Brandon. I don't know if you remember. Like, it's been 20 some odd years since Chapel Hill actually played. It has been in the same district with Jacksonville, and obviously we all remember we were in that same district. We remember, going to the games, and we don't have a very good history, and it's not as nice. It's not as nice. It's not a friendly rivalry like Lindale.
Nah, it
It's
ain't.
not friendly. And so for the state of Texas to kind of, put that district back together, the older Chapel Hill and Indians, Bulldogs and Indians, we still remember that. So it's an interesting matchup when that comes to scheduling. We have to go and travel and play each other. So that's going to be an interesting game.
Yeah.
But that's what stood out the most for me, at least. And so I don't know how that's going to handle, but I'm pretty sure that's going to be a game. I'm pretty sure there's going to be a game to cover that night. That's going to be a good one.
Actually, James commented on that. He said, Vince, they got us. Yeah. James he know what I'm talking about. I ain't going to go all the way back into it, but I'm just saying. It was just some nights.
We got a couple of comments from our viewers tonight. We got Chris has got Carthage is going to dismantle that district. So Carthage's district they're in. Let's see, we got our district is going to be tough again. I think that's for sure. I think right now, I think it's going to be probably easier up front. I don't know. Maybank was pretty tough last year. Jacksonville's been down, but you don't know because they've been playing in 5A. So we'll see how that turns into. And they've got Coach Holman, which is a former Chapel Hill defensive coordinator, great coach, great guy. I think he's going to be a good fit for them. But I don't know how quickly he can turn it around, right away. And that's what we were talking about. Vince, they got us.
Yeah.
We got Chris. That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah. Coach Holman's a great coach. He was defensive coordinator on the state championship team in 2011. Brandon, what's your thoughts on when you saw that this morning?
I mean, it was what was expected. I knew Jacksonville was coming in. I figured they would send Maybank out, and so then wasn't much surprise there as there was in some other districts. But it's one of those things. It's going to be fun. I do remember when Chapel Hill and Jacksonville were in the same district, and then when I first got in the business, Jacksonville, Henderson, Lindale, and Kilgore. Well, Lindale wasn't in there yet, but they joined. But Jacksonville, Henderson, and Kilgore were all in a 4A district together at the time with Nacogdoches. That's where I started, and so I remember there was a lot of good battles in that area and in those districts. So it's going to be fun to rekindle that because like Maybank it's kind of borderline East Texas. It's a rivalry with Athens, but Jacksonville is going to be a more natural rival with the schools in this district. So it's going to be, and I think Jacksonville's going to. I think Coach Holman will get it turned around pretty quickly. They were real young this year. I don't know what the defensive side they had because that's where they put up a lot of points this year. They had some big, and I know the quarterback they had left, but they have another McCown coming up.
Oh, they've got lots of McCowans over there. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
Well, they never run out of them. I don't know.
They got another one coming up that's pretty good. So there's going to be pieces there, and they got a really good receiver, some really good receivers, and I think they'll be ready to compete for a playoff spot that first year. Dropping down to 4A and more with schools more their size.
Yeah, it should be a good battle.
That's what I was thinking too, especially with them dropping down the classification. They'll have the numbers to compete, and of course, it's a football heavy district, and so I don't think they're gonna come in and be 4-6, or anything like that. They'll at least get up 6 or 7 games, next year. From what I'm looking at, they're going to compete in district for sure. So,
and they're going to be challenged in non-district too. They're still playing. They're still playing their old 5A foes in non-district, so they're going to be ready. I mean, they're going to be battle tested early.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've got, and that's going to be. It's an interesting game for me, as some of y'all know that my wife is actually a Jacksonville graduate, and my in-laws still live in Jacksonville.
She cool though. She cool.
So I've got a sister-in-law that teaches at the high school, and a niece that goes to Jacksonville. So That's a big game for me. I've ever since I started dating Kristen, which was back in 2010. Chapel Hill and Jacksonville never played each other in anything, and so it's time for some bragging rights. And I'm excited. It's hitting at the right time. I feel like that. We're losing a lot off of last year's team, but we got a lot coming back.
Brett, don't get put out the house. Just be quiet. You ain't got to say nothing. When that week show up, you ain't got to say nothing. She fix your meal and everything. Don't say nothing. Just and when we win, don't say nothing. Just be quiet. We want you to stay in the house.
Worry Bulldogs.
If you the next game,
I'll wear my hat.
Comes up. If you see Brett in the shed, you know it's done went down.
Yeah, Chapel Hill. Speaking of pre-district schedule, pretty tough pre-district schedule. Got Gilmer, Van, Greenville, and Nacogdoches. So there's no slouches really on that schedule. I mean, I don't know what Greenville is going to have, but Nacogdoches is 5A. We know Gilmer and Van were both good last year, both ranked in the top 10 in 482. So, I mean, our schedule's pretty tough. I would say one of the tougher schedules in the state. I mean, I don't know, not to see anybody else's. I mean, I know. Did y'all see SOC schedule? Dallas South Oak Cliff?
No,
that was a pretty tough schedule. I mean, they're playing like Duncanville and DeSoto, and I mean I can't remember the other teams, but I just saw it tweeted, and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
I mean, they should. I mean, they're going for a state title again, so you gotta at least gear up again for it. So,
I mean, I think the only thing that could have made our schedule tougher maybe if we played Carthage. I mean, what else are you missing out of this area as far as the teams? What do you think about that schedule, Brandon?
All I know is I wish they would move that Gilmer Chapel Hill game to Thursday night so I could make sure I could be at that one, because that's going to be that Gilmer Chapel Hill. I mean, that's going to be probably. Because they're both going to be ranked probably top 5 in the state coming in, and then I mean that's going Gilmer Chapel Hill to kick off the season. That's going to be fun to watch.
You got to put that on your schedule. We'll save a seat for you in the press box.
For football have way less flexibility because football.
Oh, okay.
I got legacy every week, so the only way I get to then from that is if they have a bye, or if they have a Thursday game, or if it's a Thursday game. So that's why I said let's move that Gilmer Chapel Hill to Thursday night, and let's make it the only game that night and pack up some big stadium.
Yeah,
that's not a bad idea. They can move it to Longview or possibly move it to Pine Tree or something like that. They don't have
or Rose. Just keep it right here in Tyler.
Rose, that'd be.
But Gilmer probably wouldn't agree to that.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to say at least in the middle.
Well, if it's a home game for us, though, we should be able to. I mean, if we agree next year to play in Longview or something,
but they'll probably do home sites on Friday, which I get. But I would. That's just gonna be a fun one to watch. I mean, that's
a big game. That is
two good teams. And
talking about coming out swinging right out of the gate, first game schedule Gilmer. Wow,
those first 2 games are going to be. Yeah, Greenville's going to come in. I think didn't Greenville make the playoffs this past year, and we thumped them by 40-something points. So
we beat them. We beat them this year.
We beat them, and then they kind of had a run or something like that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of picked it. I kind of said it this past season after the season was over. I want us to come out and play Gilmer or Carthage in the beginning, and we got Gilmer in the first game. I'm hype. I'm hyped for this next football season, as you can tell. And I don't want to speak too much on it because I think we have a very good chance, a very good shot. We may have some bumps and bruises along the way, but I think we'll catch stride eventually. And
I like the region we're in for sure. I'm glad we didn't slide up over there to Region 2 with that District 5 looming over there. We got China Spring and Stephenville, but both state champs are in the same district. That's going to be.
And then you got the head football coach,
and then you got Lake La Vega in that same district too, along with Alvarado. We have some history with them in a state game.
Yeah.
So
they lost Argyle that district, and it's still loaded. That's Argyle, but it's still loaded.
That is,
it will
that
be
is
interesting. We'll still, if you look at the other rest of the districts in our region, there's not a whole lot. I mean, we know there's no LBJ. They moved up. There's not a whole lot there that I see, and I look and I say, I'm scared of them. Like I don't see us having. Of course, you got LCM is now they're in a district with they're in the District 10. They've kind of moved up, and so they're with Livingston and Lumberton and Hargrave. But then you got the Houston district and then Navasota's district down south. I mean, is it just me or does that look like a pretty like our district is going to be maybe could have a chance to get 3 teams in the regional semis?
possible.
It's very possible, yeah.
I mean, I just don't. I mean, I may just be thinking, that our district is better for. I just feel like that what I see,
Yeah,
right there.
Like,
I don't see because
El Campo's still there, so
Yeah.
El Campo's still there, so.
Oh, that's true. But are they now? Are they? Did that running back?
No,
Is he graduated?
no, the one that's
still there.
Central Arkansas is gone, but Ruben Owens is still there.
Yeah.
So,
Owens is still there.
Yeah, they'll still
Okay.
be. Yeah. El Campo will still be there, but other than that, it's a pretty wide open region. But
Yates is not bad.
I mean,
they made it, and you got Navasota's traditionally good, but I don't want to hold that to him as of yet. But you're right. I mean, honestly, it's pretty wide open at this point.
I mean, I'd rather be in this region than Region 2, as far as chance to go through them. I mean, we saw the way the bracket fell for us this last year. It was very favorable, and we were able to make a run. They're just, I mean, this team would beat this team out, and it just kind of worked out where we were able to get there. And then we ran into LBJ in Region 4, and obviously they're not there either. Looking on the other side of Region 4, who we'd match up with,
Fredericksburg's who lost to LBJ, so I mean that's who lost to LBJ the game before. But
we should have, and in theory, I feel like we should have beat LBJ. We were right there. So the main thing will be, and we'll talk about this a lot as we move forward in football. It's going to be replacing all that talent we just have shipped off to college on defense. We lost a lot of defense, and you can see how good the defense was because we had, I think, 6 of them signed this week, going to play ball somewhere. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a lot of guys to sign off. Now, we know the freshman group's good. They've still yet to lose a single football game in their high school career. So, and we had the best 2 on varsity this past, maybe even, well, we moved up another couple. So 2 or 3 of them were on varsity. And so it'll be interesting to see where some other guys fill spots. But I think that'll be the key. Offense is going to be running just like pretty much the same as last year. It's going to be the defensive side of the ball. And Coach McFarland's got his hands he's got his hands full on that one. He's going to have to replace a lot of talent.
It's a good problem. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
But I mean, like you said, the region is stacked, but it's one of the reasons stacked. But I mean, the district is stacked. Getting out of district is you get out of district play, and the sky's the limit at that point. Everybody's going to be. It's going to be a heavyweight bout pretty much every Friday, and if you can make it out, kind of like this past year, if you can make it out of district play, we lost 3 games. And then went on a 7-game winning streak. So, I mean, that inexperience and experience kind of helped and helped in our favor a little bit. But I'm looking at it right now. It's really wide open, and honestly, it's everybody's kind of excited, but every coach is probably nervous and looking at the schedule calendar because you don't know, these are kids. These are 15, 16, 17-year-old kids. You don't know. But it's kind of to the point in time where I still believe someone in our district is going to win a state championship. It's just fortuitous. Lindale's been very good over the past years. We've been very good the past couple of years. I still think Jacksonville's kind of sneaky. It's kind of just the deck is stacked for us to make a run. And I think this is an opportunity for us to do that. And, the region is not as strong as it used to be. So, like you said, it's a clear path to kind of get there. But it's one of those things where you got the more focused team and the more teams going to withstand the punches and blows are probably going to make it the furthest. So it's going to be a good opportunity for us to win those games down the stretch. So I'm anxious to see how that goes.
Yeah. Well, anybody got any other thoughts on the football before we move to basketball? Brandon, anything else?
No, the basketball realignment's what I thought was interesting. So.
It is very interesting. It's very interesting. And let's go right to it then. So when I woke up this morning and I saw the football district, I was like, okay, that's exactly what I thought. When I saw the basketball district, I was like, huh? Because it just wasn't. I wasn't expecting that much change. Ours hasn't changed that much over the last couple of years, but Jacksonville dropping down sure did change it. I expected Jacksonville to be in our district in basketball. We kind of talked about that we knew they were going to be in there in football. We just kind of expected it, And before you start looking at the teams and seeing where they're located, I didn't really think about it. But then when you look at the district they're in, it kind of makes sense, logistically in most part, their district. Now, my first thought when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, we moved to Region 3. We avoided all Dallas schools.
And Fort Worth came into Region 2 also. Dunbar and them. They came into Region 2.
So we avoided the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area schools. Check. That's good. Okay. Now, we're still going to have Houston, which they're not no slouch. But I'd rather play them than the Dallas schools. Okay. We got rid of Lindale out of our district, which has given us trouble the last couple of years. Check. Bullard's now good. They've got a good coach. They're out of our district. Yeah. And we gained Carthage, which they're not normally very good in basketball. They're a football school.
They went to the regional tournament last year. They've got really good over the last few years, but
they're not normally very good. One that you're gonna see. Oh, we're Carthage is on athletes. I mean, we can play with them. I'm not concerned about a team like now. Center, they have been good. They'll have the last few years, but I'm not really worried about them. I think we're pretty much bringing our entire team back, minus a couple of guys. Football school, they're not normally good.
Yeah, we decent.
Henderson, Kilgore, them. So I overall thought the district got easier. I know we gained a couple that have been predominantly good, but I mean we always have trouble with Bullard and Lindale. I mean, even when Bullard's not been good, of course they beat us last year in our own gym. I will miss the rivalry between those two in basketball because I think those are good rivalries as we saw the other night, and we'll see Tuesday. But looking at that, I think we ended up okay.
We did until the playoffs, potentially, because Jacksonville's not a slouch. I mean, Jacksonville's pretty good, and we may have to play Bullard in the playoffs as well. That could be
that by district's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's going to be interesting though, because you'll kind of get some of those teams that we have been playing or could play back in the by district, which I like that. I like when your by district is a district that's close. We haven't had that much lately with football or basketball, either one. Like we usually have a far off next district like next to us, so that'll be nice.
Now I will say this though, that region is pretty stout. You got Silsby that's always pretty good. You'll have Hardin Jefferson is always good. Houston Yates is always going to play well. Those Houston schools are going to be very good. Yates is always good. Of course, you'll have when you got China Springs, it's not bad. Waco, Conley, and La Vega are always talented. And then, of course, you go into Lampasas, Marble Falls. So it's not a walk in the park to get to the regional tournament. I can tell you that much. And in that region alone, you're probably going to have probably 6 of the top 20 teams in that region alone, maybe even more than that. So it's a tough. By district is fine, but you get in the area and we're probably going to play some teams that are pretty good. But it's overall the district we're still an athletic district, and it matches all of our compositions match each other. It's football district, so everybody's going to be deep in the playoffs. And Carthage, Center, all of them. I'm pretty sure they'll be 2 or 3 deep in the playoffs by the time. So it's one of those districts to where by the time district comes around, every game should be competitive. But basketball wise, I still think we should be better. But I'm circling this team. You can laugh at me. I'm circling Kilgore.
Kilgore, here we go again. I knew it.
That could be the set. That could be number 2 or number 3.
Corey,
I'm just telling you.
How much money is are they paying you, Kilgore?
I'm just
Corey got
telling
some
you.
family out there or something.
It's not, okay, all right.
Either that or he owes somebody some money. I don't know. But
Carthage is good. Center is pretty good. I mean, only team that didn't make the playoffs the past year was Spring Hill and Henderson. Everybody else made the playoffs. I think Center made the playoffs, didn't it? So no, they didn't make the playoffs. I'll take it back.
No,
but Carthage and Gilmer
made the playoffs. Yeah,
they made the playoffs. So
and Center's really good this year.
Yeah, they're really good this year. So I mean, you got 2 out of the other 2 out of the 17, 8 teams that didn't make the playoffs the year before. So they're going to compete. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. But do I figure we have an upper hand to win the district and play? Absolutely. But there's some dark games that we have to play against. Carthage is not going to be a walk in the park. Center is going to play us very well. Gilmer, they're going to play us very hard and very well. So it's some good matchups. Some good matchups, though. I'm anxious for that. But that bye district, if we get out of there, I'm anxious to see how. Palestine's good. Palestine's good too.
Jacksonville's losing the high kid, which that's going to hurt them. He's graduating, so they won't be as good as I think. He's pretty much their team. Brandon, you covered him a little bit this year. So he's pretty much most of their team, isn't he?
Well, they got some of their guys, and they're well coached, and they got. But I mean, High is really good, but they'll have some guys coming back, and they got a couple young ones, some sophomores that are pretty good, and so they're still in. I mean, they got young groups coming up, and they're gonna be competitive, especially at the 4A level. I mean,
it'll help. It'll help them.
That other district's pretty good because I mean Hudson's always good, and Palestine they're good again this year. Like I mean that's a really good district.
Madisonville's pretty decent.
Yeah, Madisonville's always good. Yeah,
I just
those
like
2
the
districts
way
right there.
those out of the 3 East Texas districts, I think we have the easiest one overall.
I'll tell you what.
I wouldn't want to go over there and play. Brownsboro's probably and Canton. Those are basketball schools over there.
District 16 that's
a basketball.
That's a good district.
Somebody up here said, "Don't sleep on Palestine."
No, Palestine's good. Palestine's good.
Yeah, but that is a basketball district. District 16. I mean,
I was kind of surprised. I was kind of surprised Chapel Hill and Cumberland were split, but that surprised me.
That is weird being that
geographically.
Close.
Yeah.
But
which I mean that was one of those games we'll trade them in center. We'll trade them in center because no offense, but Cumberland hasn't been much of a challenge the last couple of years. They've got they have like 4 or 5 guys and then they don't have anything else. So they get tired and it's just I don't know their numbers are now. Do they classify them the same? Is their high school the same size? How does that work for the charter schools? Do you know, Braden?
Yeah, I mean they're 4A size number. I mean they have 4A size numbers. Like if they had football, I think they'd be 4A D2. But yeah,
interesting.
We have someone asking, what district did Cumberland go to? They went to District 16 with Athens,
they were Lindale and Van,
Brownsboro,
and them,
Canton, Lindale, Maybank, and Van.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of natural rivals in that district. Canton, Van, Brownsboro, Van, Lindale, and Van. A lot of natural rivals there. Just Cumberland didn't kind of fit there.
The Lindale Van game that's gonna get.
That's a huge, long rivalry.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be ugly.
That Maybank Canton game, Maybank Lindale. That's a good. If I'm off on one of those days, I might just ride out to see one of those games.
That's almost like you got a Highway 31 district there with Athens and Brownsboro and all those are right off the same area.
Mm-hmm.
There's
the travel. Then you got the 3 off of 20 with Lindale, Van, and Canton.
Yeah, and then Cumberland.
Yeah,
Just kind of stuck in
Yeah,
the
that's
middle of it.
weird.
in the middle of Tyler.
Yeah, I
5
don't
minutes
get
from
that.
Chapel Hill.
I wonder how close we were to actually that flip flopping and putting Chapel Hill in there with those. That I think that might have been one that would have been close. Putting Chapel Hill in.
It was
but then
probably in the conversation.
I'm glad we missed that one.
I just don't know who else that you would have. The problem is you don't have anybody else like that west side to really flip.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the schools are. You got basically have a west district, an east district, and then one that was south. Is basically how they kind of group these. It looks like to me. Because Madisonville's way down there. That's where.
That's what James is saying. He said Madisonville is pretty much a Houston school.
Well, it's right outside of College Station, but yeah.
Basically that's where Drew's wife, his in-laws live is in Madisonville. That's like 2.5 hours from here.
At least there's a Buc-ee's.
It's kind of weird. Yeah. Threw them in there.
Somebody says, "I wish Cumberland would stay." I did like that short trip to Cumberland. It was a nice, close game.
That's going to be a drive for Hudson to go to Madisonville. That's a
drive. Jacksonville to Madisonville.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Jacksonville's 30 minutes north of Hudson.
God bless.
It's going to be interesting. I still think overall, I know there's some tough teams in that region. I feel like that, Region 2 would have been tougher than Region 3. I just don't like. I don't like having to play Faith Family. They're always good. The Carters, Lincolns, and those guys are always good. And then, like Brandon mentioned, you got the Fourth Worth District is also in there too. So, Dunbar is. I don't know how is Dunbar 4A now. I just feel like they should be bigger than that, but I guess they just kind of came down like Jacksonville did. What do you think they're going to go the 7A alignment, Brandon? What are you hearing? Do you hear anything? Like, I know they talked about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible for 2024. I don't know if it will or not, but I think it's very possible. They just got to figure out the logistics of it, and and it's one of those things where you still don't know if it'll make a huge difference. I mean, I think the word "make the big difference" is in with 6A, just because the 6A 5A break is where it would make difference. But other than that, it's just because right now some of those schools and the Allens, the Planos are just so much bigger than everybody. But I don't think it would have the trickle down effect that everybody thinks it would. I don't think it would mess up 4A and below as much as people think it might.
I think I saw some preliminary stuff on Dave Campbell's, and I think it had us go into 5A D2.
Yeah.
If their predictions or whatever, if they were guessing.
But you'd still be with about pretty much the same teams you're with.
It would be the same. Yep. Basically it would take 4A Division 1 and move it to 5A D2, but it would split. It would make a difference in basketball because then you would be in 5A with some bigger teams.
Yeah.
Which it would put White House and Chapel Hill back in the same classification, which would probably put them in the same district again. As Corey.
But, I mean, that's one of the things that I was thinking too, because we all know one of the biggest drawbacks right now in UIL is travel. Putting in competition, competing teams, and like we have, some guys in chat right now. Lufkin had to travel. Lufkin's been everywhere, and they've been north, they've been south, they've been, and I think what we're used to is East Texas schools and playing East Texas schools and not having to travel, east or west to go to, Dallas or maybe even south to play in the Houston districts. Getting to 7A, a lot of time they would kind of unify and keep the regions, probably the same. And I think that's what someone was saying that too. But then again, you have, teams like Lufkin they're just kind of in no man's land, and they're the largest school there. So it's kind of, where are you going to go? That's the weird part.
Speaking of that, Brandon, what are for on an East Texas perspective, what's some other schools and districts that you thought caught your eye when you looked at it today?
Still in basketball or football too? I mean,
either one on an overall perspective.
The football we didn't really touch on earlier was, Corey kind of mentioned it briefly, but that the Carthage, that kind of shook things up in that 4A Division II football is Carthage, Rusk, and Center. No one expected them to go into that district with Brownsboro, Canton, Bullard and can't remember who the other one is, but like no one expected that, and that kind of that was the one thing that kind of threw everybody back today, because a lot of teams were they just weren't expecting that, because a lot of those teams had Rusk on their non-district schedule, and they're like, well, now they weren't scheduling Carthage in non-district, but they weren't expecting Carthage to come in, so.
Mm-hmm.
So it's Brownsboro, Bullard, Canton, Carthage, Center, Rusk, Van.
Yeah, Van.
Ooh,
Yeah, and so that's a good district.
Man.
And then another thing that's interesting now is Carthage moves to Region 2, and they're so them and Gilmer won't be state championship anymore. They'll play in the playoff, like they would meet in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, it won't be an All East Texas championship game possibility then at that point.
I think someone may have gotten upset about that for the most part.
Well, it's happened 3 times in the last 10 years now. Like,
yeah, like enough is enough. Like they can't happen again. That won't happen again. But I mean, I can see that. I just honestly I thought that district was a walk in the park for Carthage. Russ is really good. And of course they have the old Chapel Hill coach there. And so they're building. They were 9-3 last year.
Hey, they have McCowan's there too. If you didn't know that.
Well, he's going to Colorado. So.
Well, the little brother will be a senior next year.
There's another one.
There's another one. There's another
one. I told you, man. They keep replicating, man.
I think is it Luke's kids that go there? And
no,
then Josh's
go to Rusk, and then Randy and Luke's go to Jacksonville. Randy's is now going to Brookhill.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So.
But, yeah, I know they were trying to play different places so they can all be quarterback, because you only have one quarterback on the team. You can't all play quarterback.
I mean, come on. But I mean, overall, like I said, the district. I mean, that just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. I kind of laughed at it. I'm like, where's Carthage going? Like, like wow, that was a gift of all gifts. Like it's not even, I don't want to say it's a complete rundown, but like I said, Russ is pretty decent, but other than that, man, that's a
Van's been good.
Yeah, Van's been good.
Van,
but I mean,
Van was state ranked. They were state ranked last year.
Yeah, they were undefeated this year until they played Gilmer in the 3rd round.
Yeah.
Who all did they play though? Because I always felt like they wasn't really tested.
Van played Lindale. I know they played Lindale early and somebody else. But
they played a pretty good schedule.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
It's decent.
I just don't. I don't know how I feel about
their district isn't always that heavy though. So their preseason
I mean, it ain't never been just a solid district over there. So I don't know. That's I guess why I don't really.
Van this year, so.
Yeah, we're gonna get a piece of them.
We'll visit Vanderland.
Let's do it. I got people out there.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't even be talking so bad about it. I got my dad, his folks from out there. So
you said that was on the scrimmages?
It's normally one of the scrimmages. So this year it'll be a regular season game.
It's
normally they play in the scrimmage.
Yeah, I've got a family friend was friends with my dad and mom for years. It's actually the field announcer in the press box for Van. So I'll actually be up there and get to visit with him a little bit. So he's retired, but that's all the press box announcing. So it'd be a fun one. So anything else, Brandon, that sticks out?
No, I mean, and Corey kind of touched on that Lufkin kind of they get to join Tyler High and Longview, get to be back with some Tech, but then they have to make some long trips to Dallas.
Do you think they like that though, being back with Tyler and Longview?
I think so. It just it was hard for them to get anywhere else because all the Houston districts were full, the College Station district was full, and they didn't want to go to Killeen. So it's the Dallas trips are far, but and then their basketball district, them and Nacogdoches got shifted down to Houston too, and so now Tyler High and White House are in a pure East Texas basketball district, and Lufkin and Nac and Huntsville got bumped down to a Houston area. So that was kind of interesting, but.
I thought that was weird. Huntsville played in the Tyler area. That was an odd. That's like the Madisonville, the Madisonville thing. Like that is weird. Like Huntsville, that's a drive. That is a drive. But who do you think right now as far as like the toughest districts. I know we talk about District of Doom. I know you're talking about, there's a Dallas district out there. I think they have not Dallas Carter, but some of the other like Duncanville, DeSoto, and some other teams are all in the same district. Who would you think right now has the best district, like in the state, as far as football goes? As far as which
I saw Argyle and Denton Reiner Aledo and Denton Reiner in a district together.
That's a good one. That's a good
one. Aledo and Denton Reiner in a district together, and then I can't remember.
How about Shiner Refugio?
Oh
in the same district. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's normally the regional final or the regional final state semifinal game, whatever regional final game, and now they're in the same district. So
that'll be fun.
And then what? And then Stephenville, China Spring, and Waco La Vega.
Yeah, that'll be a slugfest.
Yeah. I feel bad for the rest of the teams in that district.
And Legacy they took a couple of teams moving up, I think, right? In their district.
Roy City North Forney went from 5A D2 all the way up to 6A and came in. There were some rumors.
That actually gives them that closer game.
Yeah, there were some rumors that Highland Park was going to come in, but they went to Region 1 and went to District 7, which made a little more sense. So.
Okay.
Yeah, Legacy's kind of on the island, similar to Lufkin.
Yeah,
because they're the only school that's 6A around here, and to kind of they obviously always go to Dallas usually, but at least with those other outstanding schools getting bigger, and it should continue. I would imagine that most of those schools like Forney, and there's 2 Forney schools now, right?
Yeah.
Are both of them 6A or just the one?
No, the other Forney, they both were 5A Division 2 last year. North Forney moved all the way up, and then Forney moved up to Tyler High and Longview and Lufkin's district. And
so they'll probably
Lancaster's
eventually
in that
get
district too with Longview and them.
Yeah.
That district's pretty tough. Especially when you think traditionally, Lancaster, Lufkin, Longview, Tyler High, McKinney North, just traditionally, that's a really good district.
Very good
is a good district.
I'm just looking at the other one. And you got Frisco Panther Creek, which is a new school. I know it's in 4A Division 1. They'll probably be 5A or 6A after this. After 2 years.
Frisco schools. New one pops up every day.
Yeah,
it's like new school. They'll just climb the ladder.
Yeah,
it's kind of like Katy Paytal. Now they've joined the other Katy schools in that district, so they'll probably come back to earth now that they're in there with their. I think they probably were one of those. If you grow at the right time, you can be so big and be in a way bigger classification than you really should be there for a year or two.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why those schools, sometimes you'll see them pop up and win like that. Not to say they won't win next year, but it'll be tougher, with their other Katy friends down there. I'm sure we'll want a piece of them.
That's interesting. That is very interesting.
So, hey, Vince, was there a football game last weekend? Did some team that was yellow and gold got beat, didn't they?
Yellow and gold.
Yeah.
That was a red and gold. Some 49er team. I've kind of heard of them.
It was a team by you said the 49ers. Yeah.
I think they were 49ers. They had that superstar quarterback.
Yeah,
Jimmy G, and they still couldn't win.
The legend Jimmy G. Yeah.
So I'll give you a backstory, Brandon. We have a I guess varying opinions on our NFL teams. Yeah. You have Mr. Corey Marshall. He's a 49ers fan up here. Mm-hmm. Then you got Vincent Johnson. We call him Mr. Bandwagon. He jumps bandwagons. He goes from team to team to team. So
he's a Texans fan right now.
Never done that.
Yeah.
And he's missing the fact that Corey has a second team too. Me and Corey have Go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I'm used to Texas fan. I'm used to Texas fan.
Where's my cat? Where's my cat? It's in the other one.
I'm a legacy Texan fan.
Okay. So anyway, Vince goes from Texans and he likes Aaron Rodgers, so he jumped to Green Bay when Texas.
I'm a Green Bay fan. Aaron Rodgers can He can kick rocks. He's trash.
And then you got me. I'm a solid Cowboys fan through and through. Even though they've been ragging on me all season, I took Corey's beat. Not they beat us, and I took it, even though we didn't play well, and we should have still won at the end. But it's okay. When you get 14 penalties, you can't win. So it's just it's hard to do. So we had to give Corey a hard time. He's been giving us a hard time all season.
He finally took his L. It was coming.
So Brandon, what team are you follow?
Steelers always have.
Steelers. So we got a different one. Okay.
All right.
So are you sad about Big Ben retiring?
It's one of those. I mean, of course, because he's been there so long, but it's one of those that needed to happen probably already.
It had to happen.
Thank you.
But I mean, it's one of those. It's just you're used to him being there, so it's obviously a little sad. But
it's kind of a weird feeling, huh?
That needed to move on.
Yeah.
I will have to ask you this: will you accept the trade for Jimmy G? Yes or no?
No.
No, so no one wants Jimmy G. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's like one of those, like, you could do worse, but in a year where Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and some other good ones are probably going to be available, you got to either do that or probably go to the draft and start over. But
that's rough.
Our comment section over here done heated up. Looks like James said he's Houston fan. I think I knew that. I think I always knew James.
Yeah, James is Houston Texan fan. We got
somebody else
who this
said
is.
Texans
Facebook user. Chiefs and
Texans.
Texans.
Yeah.
Somebody's ragging on TB12, man.
Listen,
we needed to retire.
That guy. I mean, he didn't have to retire.
He didn't have to, but I understand. He said, it's for the family. So I respect that.
That guy's incredible. At 44 years old.
You can like this is the fact. I heard this today on Colin Cowherd's show. So Tom Brady has more playoff wins in Tampa Bay than Dallas has in 25 years.
Here we go. Shot at Dallas. Okay. All right. Look, you can say a lot of things about Tom Brady. Like he has more Super Bowls than any team in NFL.
Any franchise, yeah.
But he's not a Cowboy fan.
It don't matter. I like TB12. I've been a Tom Brady fan since day one.
I like Tom Brady. I'm just I'm just throwing out Cowboy facts.
It's funny. A friend of mine was texting me when the Chiefs had lost, and I texted him back and I said, the funniest thing to me is that for some reason, even though the Cowboys was already done, I feel like Cowboys just lost again. Because there's so many Cowboys fans that are Chiefs
I like
fans.
the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs. They were probably another team that I'll root for. But I'm not like
they good. They can ball.
I actually, I know it's like telling y'all. I actually got to talk to Patrick a little bit. His sister played Little Dribblers in White House, and they would play in Bullard, and I reffed over there for a few years. And before he was a starter, he would come. Obviously now he'd be swarmed probably by everybody that was, but he could sit over there, and whenever he was still in the NFL, he'd sit and watch the games and cheer his sister on and stuff. And I got to talk to him a few times. It was kind of cool that it was right before Alex Smith was traded. He took the job. It was the year before was the last time I talked to him. But it's neat. He's really a really down to earth guy. It's like really nice, and so I'm happy. I mean, he did go to Texas Tech, which not a huge Tech fan. White House rival. We did beat him one year when he was there, so that's cool. But it's kind of cool to have someone that you actually know that does that well in the NFL. It's kind of neat. So who do y'all got in the Super Bowl then? It's going to be interesting. Who would have predicted these two teams at the beginning of the year?
I love the young guy, Joe Burrow. I love the drive they had. That whole team, they young, they hungry. I love it. I love that energy. But man, I feel like I've been waiting on my boy Stafford to get this done for a long time. And if he don't, he ain't gonna never do it. If he don't get it right now, it's not going to happen. Because you cannot get any better than the way they are right now. That team is stacked. I mean, head to toe. What are you gonna add to it? What are you gonna add to it? So if it don't happen for him, I don't see it happening. That's the reason I said what I said about Aaron Rodgers. What was I supposed to do? We won all them games. We beat all of the some of the best teams, and we still lost. I can't give you
Here we
nothing
go
else,
again.
Aaron.
Here we go again. Hey, Vince,
I'm back on Aaron.
Vince,
I'm sorry.
Change your name. Can I change his name on the screen to Bandwagon? Can I change it?
You know what, Cowgirls.
What basketball team you follow, Vince?
You lucky.
Which one is it? Which one is it this week?
Oh,
is it the Miami Heat?
All right.
Oh, the Suns.
Let me explain.
The Phoenix Suns.
Let me explain, because I had to do this all the time.
Because he's a Steve Nash fan.
I
don't know.
It's the Nets. Okay.
I grew up
following
everybody loved Jordan, but I was a big Charles Barkley fan, which led to me being a Phoenix Suns fan.
When's the last time Charles Barkley has played for the Phoenix Suns?
I started as a kid as you know, following Chuck
30 years
Phoenix.
ago.
And then I got into college basketball years down the line. I ran across Dwayne Wade, followed him into Miami, and I kind of started watching Miami too. So I ended up with two teams in basketball. But you know what? At the end of the day, you can't hold me to one team. I enjoyed the game.
You can enjoy the game, but you still have a team that's like your team. You can ask Corey and I our teams, and we'll tell you.
It's Longhorns and the Mavericks. It's the Longhorns and the Mavericks.
Longhorns, Mavericks, Stars.
It's Longhorns and Mavericks. And the Star. I
Cowboys.
Like
Cowboys. Yeah, it's not changing. They're my squads. I stick with it.
Those teams ain't changed since I've adopted them. They've never
I will give you my prediction. I'm nervous about the prediction.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I like Matt Stafford. I want him to get a championship. I really do. I want Odell Beckham Jr. to get a championship. Everything he's had to endure with the past few years, not having an elite quarterback in his twilight years, and he deserves that. And Aaron Donald, I respect the hell out of the Rams. However, it's something about Joe Burrow that makes me nervous. He's got that. He doesn't have any fear. He has that Tom Brady effect, and I'm gonna say that because he just wins. You know what I'm saying? And it's nervous to have that early in your career, and you beat a couple of teams that you're not supposed to beat, and they're just playing with house money, and so it could come down to a last-second drive or a field goal kick, and the Bengals could win a championship, and Middle America is in disarray. And so Cincinnati wins the championship. I say Cincinnati 31-28.
I kind of want to say Cincinnati too. I really do. I enjoy him. I just, Matt is here, man. Like, he was supposed to be here years ago, and man, I can't go against Joe. I can't go against Joe Breezy. I can't do it. He's just so calm under pressure. You ever noticed that?
Something about him, man.
He ain't freaked out yet or nothing.
He's got the juice.
All right, Brandon, what you got?
I'll say the Bengals. Before the playoffs, I said Bengals, Packers. Packers didn't get there, but the Bengals did. So I got to stick with them because they're the one team I picked that's still left. So,
yeah, 3 for the Bengals, huh? Man, I don't know. And here's my thought. I like Burrow too. I think he's good. I think the weakness right now, and they got, I think it was last week, the week before, he got sacked 9 times, is the offensive line. The offensive line. And I see Von Miller and Aaron Donald standing on the other side of the field. And I just don't, as good as Joe Burrow is, if he can't be protected and he's sacked, I just don't see how they can come up with a win. So I'm gonna take the Rams.
And the Rams do have an East Texan on the team, so
yeah,
that's true.
Starting linebacker. So
yeah, I don't really have either team as I didn't like Joe Burrow in college because he played for that stupid LSU school down south, and he beat my horns. He beat my horns. We should have beat him that game.
We should have.
And they went on to win the national championship.
But the thing is, we ain't had no defense.
Well, we didn't have any pros,
and we still ain't
LSU
had no
pros.
Ain't that funny? We still ain't got no defense.
LSU's problem. They never have a quarterback. That they always are good, but they don't ever have a quarterback.
They
When
never
Joe
had
Burrow
quarterbacks.
transferred in, that's all they needed. That's why they won that year because they
Wasn't
finally had somebody.
wasn't he at Ohio State? They had all the
Yeah.
quarterbacks. Ohio State had all the quarterbacks.
Well, we're getting one of theirs this time. Texas, we're going to get. We got Ewers back.
And man, he better be every bit as good as because you left school
he
early,
better be.
go to Ohio State to come back to Texas. Now, how did why would you do that? You just
For
could
the
have just
money.
stayed in Texas and went to Texas.
Hey, for the
Come on,
money.
you wouldn't do that.
He
Thing
did.
is,
No, we
Corey,
don't
went
want to
where
say
the
that,
money
man.
was at.
We don't want to say that.
What?
Corey,
What?
it's okay
We got to
because
talk about it now.
you know who's coming
Yeah.
down the pipeline. That's probably coming to Texas. Very strong chance. It's Arch Manning. So it's okay. Arch Manning is. I think they've got him as going to Texas at this point. That's favorite. So so he better
Unless
play
doesn't
well.
flip-
Corey,
unless
he
doesn't
followed the
flip
money.
with LSU.
He followed the money, Corey.
Well, a
Yeah.
lot of it has to do with Sark. Sark's they like playing. The quarterbacks like playing for him.
We hope.
We hope.
We hope.
We're
I
kind of
hope-
Longhorn fans here, Brandon. I don't know what your
I'm gonna be
college
honest
team
with you.
is.
I'm not sweating the quarterback situation. We got talent. You need to put a lock on this defense thing. Like it's time.
Yeah, defense is going to be the big.
I'm sick of these games that we lose because they dropping 40 and 50 points. It's got to stop. It's got to stop, or I'm moving back to Austin. I'm gonna do it myself.
Well, you got 2 years before they go to the SEC.
I'm suiting up. I'm doing it myself. They don't know how to do it right. I'm gonna do it for
Oh, James, you're gonna have to stop this.
them.
Everyone beat the Horns.
Man, James, come on now.
You got to block him.
Don't do that.
So-
We did say he was on one tonight. We did say
Yeah.
let's block him. Let's block him. It's over. Don't wrap it up. You got to
Brandon,
block.
what's your college team, Brandon? Who you go for?
It's Texas.
All right,
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
I'm all of them as diehard as y'all are, but it is Texas.
I appreciate
There we
it.
go. There we
There
go.
we go.
James
There we
said
go.
Aggie land.
He's
This
still
is
Aggie
the
land.
way.
James,
Ooh.
you know I
This
can
is
block
the
you,
way.
James. I can block you.
James,
this cat.
what you drinking out there tonight, man?
Because
We
I
need his
know they were
protection.
pretty good in football, but I didn't even heard it. Is A&M even playing basketball this year?
They're actually pretty decent at basketball.
No, they're
Yeah,
not.
They have.
That's fine.
They have.
Good record.
They're terrible.
No, they have a good
I
record.
mean,
this year.
they're building.
They
They're,
didn't even
They played a real light schedule. They have a really good record this year.
yeah.
they
If
didn't even
win,
play in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. They were so scared of the Big 12.
They didn't qualify.
Yeah.
Oh, they didn't qualify. Oh,
No, because you have
that
to
means
be. It's because Big 12 only's got 10, so it's the top 10. Who the coaches pick top 10 in the preseason. It's by preseason prediction.
Oh, so they picked them terrible.
That's also why we didn't get Auburn and Baylor because Auburn wasn't picked that high.
And then, of course, Texas had to play Tennessee.
That was
So,
good. Hey,
That was a good matchup. That was a good game. Although we
That
did
was
lose
fun.
to Texas.
fun to see Rick Barnes come back. So
Yes, that
Good.
was beautiful. That was a beautiful
It
night.
was good to see the whole packed house. You don't see that often
Yes.
there in the.
It was the last time at the Drum, and you had to see Rick Barnes. And then I saw T.J. Ford. I almost shed a tear. I'm like, oh my God, it's T.J. It's like, this is a beautiful night. This is beautiful.
But then we played Tech and we got that place was rocking.
That was gonna happen.
Uh,
That was gonna happen.
I actually I didn't even watch the game. I saw the score because we were at the Lindale game when that was on, and I just like no, I recorded it, but I wasn't interested after I saw it.
well, see, I recorded it and I somehow avoided any information about it. So I got home and watched it, and my wife
you wasted
and my
2
wife's a
hours.
Tech alum, so it was brutal.
Oh,
The weirdest thing about that arena, it looks big, and it really is big. But it is really, if you go there, it's a small atmosphere. It's really weird. Like I've been there a couple of times. It's a big arena, but it's a small atmosphere. I can't explain it. And so all the crowd there looks like everyone's on top of each other. It's weird, but that's a good man. They get it
Well, they
rocking.
got- that new facility that Texas has got is going to be a lot smaller. And
Yes.
it's going to be kind of that. The drum is almost too big, and when it doesn't feel it, it's not very a good home court. So that's what they're trying to go for the new arena.
And
So,
Baylor's got one that they're building too. So that's going to be a good rivalry. You got a Big 12 and and the SEC school down the street from another. That's going to be pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, that's for sure. But yeah, so
I'm reading these comments over here, man. So first of all, James is over here talking about stop hating. He drinking some Crown and Coke, so he on one. What somebody said they love listening to us. We awesome. I love that. And
hey, whoever said that, shout out to them.
And then James topped it off with Texas still losing.
Man.
All right, James. All right, man. All right.
Well, we're about to start where y'all can't run from us anymore. So we're gonna be in the same conference.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm ready for the game to return.
We'll see then.
If we lose, that's fine. At least we were playing the game. That's kind of like I feel about the White House game. Let's just play it. It don't matter who wins or loses.
I think I saw a couple of times where people were writing, or it may have been James, and somebody said, White House stop running. So, I mean, it ain't just us who's saying it. It ain't just us. So everybody know.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of funny how when we weren't real good, we always got White House on the schedule in football. But then all of a sudden now we're good again. And it just happened that they won't schedule us anymore. It's just kind of
it's odd. Huh?
Yeah.
James said, "Y'all won't ever get rid of me." We enjoy you, James.
Thing. I would like for that old Chapel Hill basketball or Chapel Hill White House basketball game to kind of come out. If we got to at least get one of those games back.
Yeah, just schedule at TJC or UT Tyler. Just a non-district game. Fill the stands. It's gonna pack the house and it's gonna make money for both schools. I don't understand why they don't just do it. The John Tyler game was awesome, or Tyler High game was awesome this year.
I'm just amazed at how we lost this spirit of competition. Like I just enjoy it. Like I don't get why people they get in their feelings now, and I don't want to play this team. I don't want put them on the board, put them on the schedule. I'll play them. I don't care. Yeah, I just I want to see how we match up.
Somebody says, "What is the reason White House won't schedule Chapel Hill?"
Well, Ask White House.
We don't really know. I have been told that White House will not schedule us by several coaches. So
don't know why.
Do that as you may. So
well, they'll have us in a couple of years. Then you can't run. We'll be in the same district, and then
Mm-hmm.
then we'll have to play.
Yeah. For the next 2 years, we're just gonna run on top of it.
It'll be Lindale, White House, and Chapel Hill in the same district in Jacksonville. It'd be an old district matchup again. Old district. Rob, that would be love. That would be love if we had Jacksonville, Kilgore, Chapel Hill, White House, Henderson. That'd be an old district matchup.
So Brandon, tell everybody again where they can follow you, what you do, what you've got going on the next week or so. Just anything you want to tell them to kind of let them know about you.
You can follow me at Twitter at Brandon Sports. I read my stuff at the Tyler Paper, tylerpaper.com. I obviously won't be doing anything tomorrow because we're all going to be iced in, and then Saturday I'll likely be right at Bullard Lindale, and then Tuesday we'll see, and be at home watching basketball and football. So
awesome. Yeah. So those of you out there, if you're wanting to keep up with that Lindale and Bullard game, follow Brandon on Twitter. He'll be giving updates. I've sat next to him. I don't know how he does it. He has a good knack of getting the clips and updates. I don't know, man.
It's magic.
I don't have the eye in the sky like y'all do to get the whole game. So.
Hey, you do a good job of it just from getting the clips and getting the updates going on there. So it's awesome. We appreciate everything you do for the East Texas area. We'd like to thank our sponsor for tonight's broadcast, Zono's Insurance. Shout out to Zoe and his team. And
what's up, Zoe?
That's pretty much it tonight, guys. I would like to thank Brandon for coming on tonight. Thanks for spending a little time with us. Hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, thank you.
We've all known each other for a long time, so we get into it. So thanks for putting up with us and joining us and giving us some extra knowledge from an outside source.
No problem. It was fun. Thanks for having me. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh yeah, no problem. We'll have to have you on again maybe later in the season once the playoffs get going. Maybe we can have you back on and we can talk a little playoff hoops.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, for Brandon, for Vince and Corey, I'm Brett signing off. We'll catch you next time right here on the weekly wrap-up show. Good night, everyone.
In their face, let them know I'm a do it, dog.